Hello everybody, what's going on? Tempest here, back with the next set review. Today we are doing water. Hope your pulls have been wonderful, and I hope you're getting exactly what you want, and if not, I hope you're getting good cards to sell to buy the cards you want. This is my favorite set. This is my favorite element, as always. If you've been following along, you know. So I'm excited to talk about some of these cards and the state of water after them. So, without further ado, let's get going. First off, we have Ash. Backup. When Ash enters the field, choose a forward, activate it. At the beginning of the attack phase, during each of your turns, you may return Ash to its owner's hand. I got a lot of great things to say about this card. If you haven't already heard them, one, the Princess deck is very alive with this now. This and oh man, I forgot her name. The Body Double. Whenever a Princess enters the field, draw a card. You can put this back to your hand and play it again. Draw another card. Every turn you're going to be able to draw an extra card with that. Two, cast count uses wind. You guys might know I played wind, water, cast count. This is very good for that deck. Being able to replay cards, continue, facilitate CP, and just get those cards out on the board over and over again is what you want. This triggers Bismarck. This triggers Leviathan. All great things to note. Is a princess can be searched, is 2 cost, is EX burst. This hits everything on my list. I love this card. Very good. Will definitely see play if you ask me. Wool. Wool cannot attack. Chef's Knife. For another copy of Wool, choose a forward, deal it 9,000 damage. This damage cannot be reduced. I like this card in general. I love that he can block, not like other cards that read cannot attack or block. So he is useful in just by himself anyway. He's just a big meat stick, or stat stick, as some people like to say. With a tricky S, right? He could block something and then S something else, and you're taking 2 things with one guy. Like, I can't complain. There's lots of wools, so the S is just very useful all the time. Yeah. Talk to me about it. What do you guys think? Is this going to be a thing? The stabby Chef's Knife deck. Aerith. Put Aerith into the break zone. Choose a light card in your break zone and add it to your hand. As far as my interest in this card, I'm not feeling it. This Aerith just looks super weird to me on top of everything else. Water has already so many very interesting, useful backups, and unless I'm playing a light deck, I don't find myself needing this. Or there might be a world where this makes it into a water dancers list, right? Because you need more 7s for the dancer guy, the 1 cost one. So I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of for this one. But other than this, not really useful to me. Gao, back attack. When he enters the field, choose a category 6 forward you control until the end of the turn. He gains 1,000 power for each category 6 character you control, which is very nice. And then you can tap Gao, pay 1, put Gao on top of its owner's deck, and shuffle the deck and draw a card. So a lot of honestly, this Gao is weirdly exciting for me. So in the 6th deck, he can come in for 2, pump something, block out, put himself back in the deck, and draw something else. It's weird, but he's very, very, very good if you ask me. I love back attack, by the way. If you didn't know this, we played the Titus back in the day, the old L Titus. We love the Duke Snake card, and we like this card a lot. So, Clavat. When Clavat enters the field, draw a card and then discard a card. When Clavat enters the field, if the cast was 3 CPs, your opponent selects a forward they control and put it into the break zone. So, in sealed, very good. Again, this might be another one that doesn't see use out of it, unfortunately, outside of sealed, but not bad in general. Sapphire Weapon. If you have 5 or more job weapons in your break zone, the cost required to cast Sapphire is reduced by 5. And when Sapphire is put from the field in the break zone, draw 2 cards. Again, there might be a weapon deck out there. I'm just not sure if it's there yet. So here's hoping. Honestly, this isn't bad either for its second effect. As long as it's not removed from play, you're going to be drawing 2 cards. So you're pretty much effectively worth 1 Sapphire. It's just timing, really. Backup, White Mage. You can put White Mage in the break zone, choose a forward your opponent controls, return to its owner's hand. We like this. And then at damage 3, enters the field, draw a card. This is a very good card. I don't know where water is right now. It's hard for me to decide. We're still playtesting, but I like this card in general. It should see play across water decks in general. Strago. When Strago enters the field or is put from the field to the break zone, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck and add a Category 6 character among them to your hand. Return the others to the bottom of the deck in any order. Revenge Blast. Choose a forward until the end of the turn. It loses 2,000 power for each point of damage you have received. That Revenge Blast is actually really exciting as the game gets, as the game goes on. And the first effect is just busted, right? Enters the field or leaves or is put from the break zone. EX Burst, please. Strago's an auto into these 6 decks. Sanctuary Keeper. I'm super big on this card. At the beginning of the attack phase, during each player's turns, choose a forward, activate it, and gains 2,000 power until the end of the turn. So many utilities for this, right? Things with action abilities, just being able to use them during both players' turns once it's active is very exciting. Having a blocker on each player's turn is always good too. On your opponent's turn. So this kind of always makes sure you can always attack and hope you don't lose your forwards, obviously, but that's in any deck. But he'll just bring something back up. So it's just something your opponent always has to worry about. It's a threat. The downside to this is that if you don't have forwards, if your opponent manages to clear your board, you have to pick one of their forwards and pump them. So if you're hoping to draw or hit an EX Remora and kill something for 10, you won't because he's 12. So, or 11 sometimes, whatever. So there are downsides to this, but I think he's very good. In sealed and limited, this guy's a monster. Your opponent has a lot of trouble with this, but there is enough removal for him to get around it. So I think he's just a good card. I'm concerned that he might not see play because he's so expensive, and it might need a little his utility might need to be revolved around the deck. So that's the only thing. Sophia, at the beginning of the attack phase, during each of your turns, choose a forward your opponent controls. It loses 2,000 pounds to the end of the turn. Not bad. I like these effects. Titus, EX Burst. When he enters the field, select one of the following two actions. Choose a forward, return it to his owner's hand, or draw a card. Too much for too little. I feel like we've seen this art already before too, so why are we reusing it? Tonberry. When Tonberry enters the field, draw a card. You can discard a card until the end of the turn. Tonberry also becomes a forward with 2,000 power, and when Tonberry deals damage to that forward, break it. You can only use the ability once per turn. This is an extremely problematic card early on. When your opponent sets up, there's a lot of key pieces that they're not going to want to lose. And so having this guy in the pocket is going to be really good. This guy is going to steal so many points of damage, I think, that people are going to let go through. And when it's time, it's going to be I think there's just going to be a problem for people. Oftentimes, water is usually in a position where we have too many cards per turn. So pitching one of our extras to facilitate, what's her name, Lena, is just going to be very good to sneak in a point of damage or kill something. Downsides, obviously, first strike, you auto lose, doesn't do shit. And then 2Ks, easily answered, right? Easily. So just something to think about. But it is also another pro for this. It's just another way for water to remove that's not reduction or bouncing or sending, right? So we have a fourth way to kill. It's just deals damage, break it, right? So very exciting stuff. Yuna, when Yuna enters the field, your opponent selects a forward they control, put it in the break zone. This is your number 1 title card in the set. So FF10 already has a pretty decent title. This Yuna's is not bad either. You're gonna play this one, I'm pretty sure. Sealed and limited, it's not bad. Outside of that, I don't think it will see too much play in standard. Joseph, if you control a card named Furion, Joseph gains 2,000 power, and when Joseph attacks, draw a card. When Joseph enters the field, you may play a category 2 forward of cost 3 or less and play it onto the field. This Joseph, my biggest problem is his name is Joseph, right? Because Joseph is our rebel searcher, and this guy is just so good because he plays him from your hand, and he, with Furion out, he draws cards too and gets bigger. I love that. Again, our problem is that you just took away our searcher. Our EX Burst 3-cost searcher, I don't like that. Now I have to, try to draw these cards or get these cards in a different manner. So that's my problem. He's a very good card, but his name clash just aggravates me. Larsa, the only full art water card I don't really care for. I'm just not interested in. Larsa, backup. When Larsa enters the field, you may discard a card. When you do so, search for a category 12 forward and add it to your hand. So, not bad in water, honestly. I might get my hands on some just because we're, max rating our water as always. But in a bad situation, we're just pitching something to get our Ash. In other decks, we're getting Vaughn or Vayne or any other main character's name with a V. And then just the ability to reduce damage by 2,000 isn't too bad either. It's a decent card, honestly. It should see some play. People might be drawn to it because you're just the searching stuff. So Leviathan, one of the contenders for best cards in the set, probably the most impactful. If a water forward has entered this field and reduced the cost by 3, choose a forward your opponent controls, return it to its owner's hand until the end of the next turn. Your opponent cannot cast any copies of it. So yeah, that's all. It's pretty self-explanatory. Putting dead cards into your opponent's hand is a new thing that we haven't seen too much of, right? I guess the closest thing to this was the Cloud of Darkness that we got in Ice a little while ago, where you banish something, and as long as Cloud of Darkness is out, your opponent cannot play copies of it. And so that I've seen that become a problem. I felt it a few times, honestly. It become a problem. So putting it back into your opponent's hand creates similar scenarios. My only downside to this is that you can't save your forwards. We're used to that in water, and so it's going to take a little getting used to. But realistically, it's just we're going to send something back, and now we're going to attack, and the next turn you can't play it, so you'll have to play something else, which isn't what you want to do. So we're going to hopefully win in the following turn somehow too. Refia, the legendary. At the beginning of the attack phase, during each of your turns, activate all the Job Warrior of Lights you control. When four or more dull characters are activated by this effect, draw a card. You can dull 4 active Job Warrior Lights to choose a forward your opponent controls, put it at the top or the bottom. You can only use this ability once per turn. Yeah, a very, very strong card. Very lovely art. I think Warrior of Lights might finally have gotten the last piece to their puzzle, and it is probably this. Downsides, it's pretty weak, easily answered. There's a lot of spells that deal with this now. In our other reviews, just from this set alone, we have the Ifrit, we have the Ramu. Yeah, just a lot of things now. 3/7 is not strong enough anymore, so that's my biggest concern. Solid effect, you can get it as soon as you can pull it off right away, so no worries about that. So yeah, pretty good. That was our last one for the water. Honestly, they're mostly all bangers for me, with the exception of this Aerith and this Yuna. Ash, I spoke highly of. Wool is very interesting. Gao, we can find some value in Sapphire Weapon and Clavat in different formats. White Mage, Joseph has its issues. The Titus is also not so great, but Sophia's decent for all things. Strago, Sanctuary Keeper, Larson, Leviathan, and Tonberry, and Refia. I can't complain. Water ate good this set. Now it's just finding the best way to use all these cards. But anyway, tell me what's your favorite card. Do you guys agree that Ash is a fantastic card? How do you feel about Strago, Tonberry, and Leviathan? Do you play 3, 2? Any thoughts? Share them and give them to me, because I love talking water cards. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. Happy deck building. See you later.